Rise coming up, IMF reveals Bank of Ghana's gold purchase program posted $1.7 billion losses in 2025. Meanwhile, IMF backs greater fiscal flexibility for Ghana from 2027. Plus, energy analyst demands a stop to Ghanaians being forced to fund Electricity Company of Ghana ECG's endless losses as union slams privatization.
We should definitely bring in some level of efficiency. Let somebody invest money, and the person who invests money is the one who manages the company.
Details of these and many other stories lined up for you. I am Michael Obodu. Do stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program generated losses of more than $1.7 billion in 2025. This played a critical role in rebuilding the country's foreign exchange reserves and supporting the city, according to the International Monetary Fund, IMF. In its 2026 article, IV Consultation and Proposed Policy Coordination Instrument report, the IMF said the program had become the central bank's main source of foreign exchange inflows and reserve accumulation. This report has the details.
The International Monetary Fund says the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program recorded losses of more than $1.7 billion in 2025, despite helping to strengthen the country's foreign exchange reserves and supporting the cedi. According to the IMF, the losses, equivalent to 1.5% of Ghana's GDP, were largely linked to the purchase of semi-pure gold under the Gold for Reserves program. The IMF also noted that the program weakened the Bank of Ghana's balance sheet, with the central bank's negative equity reaching 6.7% of GDP by the end of 2025. However, the fund says the initiative significantly improved Ghana's external position. Gold-related foreign exchange inflows surged from $1.7 billion in 2023 to $12.7 billion in 2025. This helped international reserves rise to $11.9 billion, or about 4 months of imports cover. The IMF says the stronger reserves position enabled the Bank of Ghana to increase foreign exchange sales, improve market liquidity, and support a 41% appreciation of the cedi against the US dollar in 2025, even as it calls for measures to improve the program's financial sustainability.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says Ghana can ease the pace of fiscal tightening from 2027, creating more room for development spending while staying on track to reduce public debt. Under the proposed fiscal path, the primary surplus target could fall from 1.5% to 0.5% of GDP without affecting the goal of lowering debt to 45% of GDP by 2034. The IMF says the move depends on continuous reform to boost revenue, strengthen public financial management, and improve oversight of state-owned enterprises. The fund also says the additional fiscal space should support investment in key sectors such as education, health, infrastructure, agriculture, and energy to drive growth, create jobs, and attract private investment. Now, away from that, the Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Research and Policy, Kwadwo Poku, says Ghanaians cannot continue to bail out a power distribution network that keeps creating losses across the entire value chain. His comment follows the Ghana Utility Workers Union's criticisms of government's appointment of a transaction advisor for ECG's private sector participation, which the union described as an act of bad faith.
The energy analyst Kwadwo Poku argued that without major reforms to cut inefficiencies and revenue leakages at ECG, consumers and taxpayers will keep footing the bill for a system that is not financially sustainable.
We should definitely bring in some level of efficiency. Let somebody invest money, and the person who invests money is the one who manages the company. Currently, we should all wait for the transaction advisor to bring its report and see the direction that it advises government to go.
Kwadwo Poku echoed ECG's technical and financial challenges, some of which are self-inflicted by the company. He noted that beyond internal balance sheet troubles, broader issues within the electricity value chain continue to strain public resources.
If you look at their financials that was published in their recent ended AGM, they basically got monies from FX gains. When we pay our bills, we pay in cedis. When they now went and changed to pay dollars, because the dollar to the cedi had reduced, they got gains of up to 12 billion Ghana cedis in FX gains. They also, in their books, we have seen that they have a long-term borrowing of about 21 billion. If you look at the performance of the company in 2024, we would have expected for them to build on the momentum and the good performance they had in 2024. But the 2025 performance of the company is very bad.
The energy analyst stressed that until ECG fixes metering, billing and collection losses, any private sector deal will only transfer the burden to consumers.
Let's bring you some more stories now. And Deputy Energy and Green Transition Minister Richard Jan Mensah has urged that African countries must invest more aggressively in nuclear, arguing it should be seen as a strategic investment, not a distant option. Ghana is deepening its push for nuclear power as part of a long-term plan to secure reliable, low-carbon electricity for industrialization. This report has the details.
Government has already included nuclear in Ghana's future generation mix, positioning it as dependable baseload power to support manufacturing, mining, data centers, and transport electrification. Unlike solar and wind, nuclear plants can run continuously. The country has been working with international partners to build regulatory and institutional structures, with talks ongoing establishing a dedicated Ghana nuclear power company. Russia's Rosatom has also signed an MOU with the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission on possible cooperation and training. But challenges remain. Large nuclear plants require huge upfront capital and years to build. The Institute of Economic Affairs says financing, governance, safety, and public trust will determine if the ambition moves from policy to construction. For Ghana, officials say nuclear could become a key pillar for stable power and lower emissions.
Let's bring you some more stories now. And the Economic Community of West African States is introducing a regional certification system to help public institutions improve gender equality as the bloc increasingly links workplace inclusion to stronger governance, productivity, and economic growth. The initiative forms part of ECOWAS's broader strategy to promote more efficient and accountable public institutions across member states.
ECOWAS says the program is intended to eliminate discriminatory workplace practices, strengthening institutional accountability, and improve service delivery. The bloc argues the Gender Equality Seal for public institutions will assess government agencies against a set of gender standards before awarding bronze, silver, or gold certification based on their performances. Institutions will be evaluated on leadership, commitment, workplace policies, and gender-responsive practices before undergoing an independent assessment for certification.
For instance, how many staff do we have, female? What is it they are doing? Do we have the same levels of responsibility? How is responsibility shared? How do we go about recruitment?
ECOWAS says the program is intended to eliminate discriminatory workplace practices, strengthen institutional accountability, and improve service delivery. The bloc argues that more inclusive public institutions are better positioned to attract talent, enhance performance, and support sustainable economic growth. Speaking at a validation workshop on the self-assessment process, Director of the ECOWAS Gender Development Center, Sandra Fatou, commended Ghana's efforts to advance gender equality.
We often cite Ghana for the different entities, the ministries involved, because it's not only the gender ministry. You also have education, you have trade, so many ministries, but they have been able to come along, for better implementation.
Let's now bring you updates from the currency and the commodities market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis, 74 pesos. It gained 2 pesos. The British pound is selling at 15 cedis, 81 pesos. It gained 4 pesos. The euro is selling at 13 cedis, 56 pesos. It also gained 6 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at the Forex Bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $79.38 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,247.36 per ounce, up by $169.37. Cocoa is trading at $6,001 per ton, down by $44.
Those were updates on the currency and the commodities market, bringing an end to the business news on Sunrise. For more stories, kindly check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe.